All right.
Recording is now in progress, and we are at day 3 of continuous World Series shenanigans. And I am once again joined by a different guest this time. My great, great friend who I've known for honestly most of my life.
Yeah.
Most of my life,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. I'm joined by Naomi. Naomi, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you doing, Jared?
I'm stressed.
Oh,
Stressed.
me too.
Longest week of my life.
Oh, you could.
Longest week.
Oh, you could say that again.
Because if you didn't hear, there's a certain team that's in the World Series right now, and I think I think that team just might be the Philadelphia Phillies right there.
Oh, yes, sir, it is, baby.
That is just a little crazy that a little rinky-dink team like the Phillies are now in the World Series. Who would have thought?
Oh, honestly,
This
not
guy,
me.
right? Never a doubt. I never doubted this team. Never said a bad word about Connor Brogdon. Never said a bad word about Reese Hoskins. Never said a bad word about any of them. Never. I always 100% confidence. I knew this day would come. I knew this was going to happen. And I'm just a prophet at this point.
You are. You want to know what's funny? Like, I remember we went to elementary school together.
Mm.
You're always, since day one that I've met you, always repping the Phillies.
Yeah, you
And
hear that, people?
ever,
I'm not a
literally,
bandwagon.
ever since day one, you've always been decked out in
Absolutely.
Phillies gear, even through our toughest seasons,
Oh,
our
dude,
best
where were
ones.
you during the 2015 season?
Gotta
But
have it
yeah,
for that one.
yeah, oh yeah, that was a rough year for everybody around, and but we're here to talk about the 2022 Phillies, who, like we mentioned, are in the World Series. So I can't get over saying that.
Oh, I can't either. I keep wearing all my stuff to class. Everyone's telling me to
You got it.
stop. I'm
Yeah,
like, I can't. I can't.
because we don't know when this is going to happen, if ever again.
Oh no.
So
Whew.
when a Philadelphia sports team makes it to any sort of championship, we run with it, for God's sakes.
Oh, and we'll never let it go.
Absolutely. So basically, the show today, we're just gonna go over a little bit from the NLCS, because I ask everybody who's been on, about key moments, stuff like that. We'll talk a little bit about the journey of this team, and then we'll wrap up with the World Series predictions. How's that sound to you?
Perfect.
Sounds perfect and lovely. I love it. So, obviously, for people who have listened to all of these, it's going to sound like a record repeating, but I don't care. Phillies beat the Padres. They beat the living hell out of them. Naomi, what was running? Walk me through what you were going through during that series.
Honestly, as not a lot of people probably know, but I go to school out in Kentucky, and it's very harsh out here being a Phillies fan. So a lot of people were just ragging on me, just being like, "There's no way, there's no way you guys are gonna do it." And and I was a
Man,
little unsure. The first like two games, I was like,
especially after that second game,
yeah, I was
it
like,
was
I
rough.
really don't know.
Yeah.
And then,
And then they came home. And
yeah,
I keep saying, if you're Houston, do not let the Phillies take one down in Houston, because if you do,
oh
this series is over.
yeah, if I hope they, I don't know.
I
I mean,
just
I
hope.
think we can do it, especially like they put out
Why not
our,
us?
yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
If anyone can do it, we can. That's
I,
what
I
I've
I
always
didn't
said.
I didn't know it was allowed for luck to be on any Philadelphia team side. I thought,
Yeah.
but this team. And I think I've said this to you before, that this team gives me like 2017 Eagles vibes, like team of destiny. Nothing is stopping them. Not even the big bad Patriots stop that Eagles team. And I just get those same vibe from this team. Like, they love each other. The city's behind them. Everybody's loving it. Like, this
Mhm.
Philadelphia, and I don't care what anybody says, Philadelphia is a baseball city. It is a baseball town. Everybody loves the Philly. Yeah, the Eagles are great, and the Sixers are not. They're not great right now, but that's a different discussion for a different day. And the Flyers exist. That's the best I could give to the Flyers
Yeah,
right now. The Flyers exist. But no matter what, I feel like above all else, people show out for the Phillies and love when the Phillies are successful.
absolutely. It's one of the biggest things, like camaraderie. And
Mm-hmm.
we've always been really big on getting behind our players and our teams. Like, let's let's freaking do it, man. Like,
Yeah.
and especially like after like that 10-6 win too. I
Mhm.
feel like we really got that extra boost.
Yep.
Like
Especially
we
coming
can we
back the
can
way
be
they
getting
did.
yeah, we can be getting like 10 homers in a game.
Because
Like
why
we can
not?
do that. Yeah.
And especially when you have guys, your top guys carrying you like you should. You paid Schwarber, you paid. I mean, we don't talk about Castellanos. We don't talk about
Yeah.
that guy. You paid Schwarber, you paid JT, you paid Harper, and those guys are the guys that are leading you right now. Obviously, Reese is in the mix. Bohm, everybody knows he's my World Series MVP pick. I love Alec Bohm.
Me too.
Stotts looked better. Brandon Marsh, I love Brandon Marsh, but please
Mhm.
hit a ball. Like he was awful during the NLCS.
Yeah.
But so this is the big question I've asked everybody.
God.
Where were you? Well, actually, two questions. First question was, where were you when Bryce Harper sent us to the World Series?
Oh my gosh. When he sent us to the World Series, I was actually just at home. I was on the phone with my mom. We were actually watching the game together, just like
Yeah.
on my laptop. I have to like stream NBC on
Yeah.
there. And of course, my stream was a little like 3 seconds behind hers
Oh,
on live television. So all I
mhm.
hear is like everyone got like just gasp. And I
Yeah,
was
like
like, and then I looked down and I'm like, we did it.
yeah, like
Like
it
yeah,
would.
and it was I remember back when we won, like when we won the series, it
Mhm.
was that same feeling, like just goosebumps through. You
Yeah.
almost like want to run out into the street and be like,
dude,
finally, like
dude, and
finally.
I said it like the year before I went to school, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, party on
Mhm.
Broad Street. I wasn't there. The year after I graduate, Phillies are doing this. I can't party on Broad Street that night. Figure it out, Philadelphia.
I
Figure
say
it
the
out.
same thing. We're missing out, and I don't know if they just need me to be away from the city for this to happen, but
Listen, every sacrifice matters when it comes to winnings. But I literally have worn the same thing during every win.
uh,
I the same underwear, same socks, same shorts, same everything.
yes.
Nothing has changed for my get up during this stretch run, and nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to
Oh
change.
yeah. I've been
I
wearing this old Philly sweatshirt from back in the
oh
day,
dude,
just
I love the
nonstop.
powder blues.
Oh, that's
The cleanest
debatably
jerseys.
one of the freshest uniforms, I think.
Not even debatable. It is the freshest. Like it's not even a debate
Oh
at this
yeah.
point. So Harper obviously did that, and I've said it before. I want to give a shout out to Bob Melvin on the Padres for sticking with Suarez in that situation. Thank you. You'll get your NLCS. Honestly, I don't think Bryce Harper should have been the NLCS MVP. I think it should have been Padres manager Bob Melvin for not bringing in Josh Hader to face Bryce Harper. So thank you for that, buddy. But and my other question is, where were you when Wawa saved Kyle Schwarber's season,
Oh my
bringing back
gosh.
Schwarberfest?
I wish I could be a part of it.
I mean,
The,
it's
the
yeah.
biggest lack of being in Kentucky is there's no Wawa, but I have still have the Wawa app and I get
Mhm.
all those notifications. And I know my family's been taking advantage of it.
It's just
And after
unreal.
what? And then, well, yeah, I was just talking about it to someone in class trying to explain it. And I'm like,
You don't get
Hokies?
it
Like, I'm
unless
like,
you're
I
here.
don't know. It's like,
It's one of those things where it's like if you're not from the Philly area, you literally don't get it,
yeah,
and it's
it's very
impossible to
hard.
explain to somebody.
Yeah, some people don't even know what a hoagie is. And I'm like, oh no, they call it a sub.
Or a hero in like in
Yeah,
New York. Get out of here with
a
that.
grinder. Some people call
Like,
it a grinder.
dude, my laptop is struggling right now. Holy dude, it sounds so bad right now. It's fine. Oh, it stopped. Okay, good. Figured itself out. Anyway, professional over here. Um, so during this season, it's been ups and downs. A lot more ups in the second half than the first half. So, what were your kind of okay? So when in the offseason you signed Castellanos, you signed Schwarber. What were your expectations going into this season? Was it just make it to the playoffs? Was it World Series or
I was just hoping for the playoffs.
yeah?
Honestly, I was hoping and kind of expecting it, like
Mm-hmm.
with all of the changes that we made.
Yeah.
Honestly, and if we're paying that much money,
Yeah. For paying having the
I would
fourth
like to
biggest
see
payroll.
yeah, I would like to see everyone perform, and God bless they are.
Well,
But that
except
was
for
just
one
really,
person that plays right field. We won't get into that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We won't get into Nicky Castellanos.
Yeah.
Sneaky World Series MVP pick.
I was honestly expecting just like playoffs, first round,
and just see where they go.
Wild card.
Yeah.
Basically, and just, cool if they do, cool if they don't. And then once they fired them, once they went through that,
once he who will not be named got fired.
Yeah, I'm like, whenever he left, honestly, that happened June 3rd. I'll remember that because it was 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, dude, I remember exactly where I was for that firing. Ashlyn was in her bathroom getting ready, and I already showered. I was ready to go. I was going to Twitter. I got a text from my friend that just said, "Joe is gone," in all caps. And I immediately went to Twitter. I started partying. I said, yes, the season can finally start. He's gone. And I want to know, with all this success that they've been on, what did he do to them?
What is the secret? Like, what?
Imagine like just trusting your guys to do their thing and not over managing. What a concept.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
I'm so excited to see where that goes.
I mean, and you got to give credit to Rob Thompson during this entire time. Like,
absolutely,
he's a baseball lifer. Everybody knows, and he was with Girardi with the Yankees. He was with Girardi with the Phillies. Oh, I mentioned his name. Oh, that's bad. It's tough luck, but professional journalism over here. Okay, and you got to think that Rob Thompson somewhere had a notebook that just wrote down what not to do in game management, because Girardi might have been the worst game manager I've ever seen in my entire life. The bullpen management sucked. His lineup construction sucked. He sucked. I hated him. And Thompson was not given an easy task. The weight of the world was on his shoulders because Philly's a huge market. Philly is a place where, it's not like New York. And I hate Yankees fans. I hate Mets fans. They're the worst. They suck. They're the most entitled people. It's literally every year championship or the season was a failure. And, Philly is that to a degree. If you're open, if you're honest, you're saying, hey, I suck. I should have done better. Philly's going to get behind you. Look at Alec Boehm. When he said, I effing hate this place, he admitted it, got a standing ovation the next day. And Rob Thompson literally just took over and just said, play your game and we'll see where we go. And guess where we are? The World Series. The
World Series, baby.
Series. I mean, so when the news broke about that guy getting fired, what were you doing exactly? Where was your mind at?
I remember just relaxing. I remember my parents, I was kind of jealous because on my birthday, 2 days later on the 5th, my parents were actually going to the Phillies game. And I was kind of jealous because I was like, oh, you're just going to go without me. Funny. But I was like, oh, they're probably not even going to do that well.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I was like,
because that was the weekend when they had the two comebacks, was the Harper Grand Slam and then the Stott walk-off. And that wasn't the Stubbs walk-off. That was against the Marlins. But that was when you can kind of tell that this team, like, I don't know when the point where you can tell that this team was going to be special if they made it to the postseason, because you could point to that moment. You could obviously, people point to when Girardi got fired. Is there a particular moment in the season where you thought that this team is special and could make a run?
I mean, honestly, when one of our streaks, I don't know what it ended in.
Because there's so many winning streaks that we have.
Yeah, it was against the Nationals, like right after the coaching change happened or whatever. We fired him. And I remember we won that in the first game. We beat them 10-1, and I was like, not bad.
Interesting.
And then we kept going, and we lost the last game, but I was like, the Nationals are just someone that can be like not intimidating for us, but with
because stuff, it's like that thing where
fans don't even
and it's like the Nationals are like that team that they like absolutely suck, but for some reason, outside of like 2 games or 3 games, Like we kind of kicked their ass this year.
Yeah.
But there's always that in the thought in the back of his mind that's like that doubt that you know.
Yeah. And I'm like, I never want like the fans to like not like each other and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, like to bully our players
Yeah,
like that. It's one
exactly.
thing if
That's
it's
our
one thing,
job to do to
yeah,
other
it's one thing
people.
if we do it because we're
Exactly.
allowed to.
Of course, because
But
we're
like,
Philly. We're scumbags.
yeah, but like, don't come after Bryce Harper.
No, absolutely not.
Please
I'll
don't.
I'll
It's
kill you.
like, don't kind of try to get into his mind. I know
Yeah.
that's just what they do,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, once I feel like he got a little bit more into that mindset too. Like, all right, we can all come together as one
Mm-hmm. And
and
I
start.
and I honestly felt like at the point for me when I felt like this team was special was when Harper went down, when Snell hit him with that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody collectively, because the Phillies were finally rolling. They were finally, they
Yeah.
climbed back to 500. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking good. Everything's clicking. And then Harper gets injured. And I think I speak for everybody when we all thought that was the end of the season, that, that was it. And I feel like everybody in that Phillies clubhouse said, we're not done. We have
Yeah.
the guys here to get it done. And then they went on that ridiculous run without Harper. And then
Yeah.
honestly, they kind of slowed up when he came back, which worried me a little bit because it felt like they had their foot on the gas, waiting for their superstar to come back. The superstar comes back, and everybody kind of takes a step back. And Harper never made that ridiculous leap like we thought he would. He only hit like 230 or something since coming back, but obviously he's had an unreal postseason. Shout out, I say it every episode, shout out to Miles Michaelis for getting Bryce Harper hot by hanging him a curveball in game 2 of the wild card game. Round applause, Miles Michaelis. Thank you, Miles Michaelis. Where were you when Miles Michaelis saved the season? That might be the name of the episode. It might not.
Oh gosh.
Where were you when Miles Michaelis saved the season? But you just got the vibes of this team found a way to win through adversity. And, for so many years, this team found new ways to lose. They kind of flipped it on its head. They were finding new ways to win. What do you think?
I agree. I think we kind of just maybe turned to mindsets like we refuse to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Like through all adversity, like people kind of may expect them to not overcome it. They're like, why? I think they just had to change the mindset. Like if we really come together, we can do anything. And I think it's really proving to show right now that they can do anything if they. I mean, look at us. We're in the World Series. Like honestly, no one would
I
have
can't
thought
get
this.
over it. Like nobody. No,
Like
no.
in June.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
it's one of those things where I've said it once, I'll say it again. Every year there's a team that gets hot going into the playoffs. I just didn't know it was allowed to be us. I just didn't know that the Phillies were allowed to be that team. And oh God, there's something flying over here. But it's just been great. And the fact that the Phillies are 7-2 in the playoffs this year, right? Yeah. 7-2. That is just like for a team that barely got in to handle themselves the way they have is pretty damn impressive.
Yes. Absolutely. I am so proud of those boys. Like, so proud of like everyone on that team, even the freaking Philly fanatic.
Dude, shout out to the Philly.
I am so proud of him.
And if you remember, in 6th grade, I put down as my future job, future Philly fanatic.
Is that in the yearbook?
That's in the yearbook. I need to find the yearbook somewhere. I'll post it on the. If I find it, I'll post it on my story on the .net Phillies Instagram because I said it. Like she said, like the yearbook will say, I've been here since day one. And and a lot of people are getting their panties in a bunch because they're like, oh, well, these Phillies fans are hopping on the bandwagon. You guys didn't even know who Cesar Hernandez was, who Michael Fry. Who cares? We're all Phillies fans. Like, we want everybody there. Like, this is our team. It's not my team. It's not your team. It's our team. It's our National League champion Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, are going to the World Series. Yeah.
We're about to win the World Series.
Dude. I know, dude. This team's winning the World Series. Like I've said it once, I'll say it again, and I'll say it until they don't, or if they do. The Phillies are
Yeah,
winning.
even if so, I might just like lie to
The
myself.
Phillies are winning the World Series. Like you can't beat destiny. You just can't.
You can't. There's
No.
only one road, and it's gonna be our road.
Dude, it's literally like, and you got to look at it this way. Like everyone's like, oh, the Astros are so good. And don't misunderstand me. The Astros are an excellent team from top
Oh
to bottom.
yes.
They're fantastic, but they haven't been contested in like 2 months. They pretty much wrapped up the American League best record, like the beginning of
Mhm.
August, or excuse me, the beginning of September. They basically they've been on cruise control. They faced the Seattle team who was fine, but were they? And then the
Yeah.
Yankees, who are awful. Like the Yankees are awful.
They
How
just
the
have Aaron
hell?
Judge.
How the hell? They don't even have him anymore. He's going to be gone after next year. And how the hell does that team? That shows how weak the American League is. How does a team like the Yankees make it to the American League Championship Series? They sucked.
Yeah.
But, 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 I just think that the series is not going to be as much of a pushover as everybody thinks it's going to be.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be a really good series. Like, I mean, I say that we're going to win. I hope that we win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy win by any means.
No, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of. I feel like there's going to be like a blow up or two on either side.
Yeah.
Like a 10-run spot for the Phillies or a 10-run
Mm-hmm.
spot for the Astros, because that's just what these offenses are. They're juggernauts.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it's going to be a lot of like 4-3, 2-1, like 5-4, 5-3, like close enough games where with one swing of the bat, the game could be tied or give your team a lead or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I feel like it's just the nature of baseball and with the lineups of both of our teams that there's bound to be at least one or two blowouts in the series. And I agree. I think they're gonna be really close, like almost nail biting games for
Which is
each
not going to
one
be good for
besides.
not going to
It's
be
not gonna
good
be
for my
good.
hair.
No, it's
I'm
not gonna
already
be good.
graying as is, let
Yeah.
alone if Jesus this, because I barely remember like 2008, 2009. Like I was a kid. We were kids.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I fully understand baseball now more than a lot of people. I'm
Mhm.
terrified. I am terrified to watch this team. I barely made it through the Cardinal series. The Brave series in hindsight was pretty relaxing, honestly, because
Yeah.
we steamrolled them.
That
Uh,
was easy.
and then that Padres series, I was just like, I had a pillow at all times, and I was like,
Yeah.
but
It's hard. It's
it's
hard.
so I gotta ask, during the rebuild era
Mhm.
of 2012, I guess, to I mean, I would say till 2018, because 2018 was the first season where the Phillies were trying to be competitive. So
Yes.
who out of all the players that were in that era is like your favorite player from that era of time?
Oh my gosh, that is so hard.
Dude, I already got mine locked and loaded.
Oh my gosh. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, all those years were tough.
Yeah,
They,
and they were hard to watch, and I feel like at every season there was a revolving door of guys like that people would never stay. My favorite guy, because this was my grandfather's favorite player during that time. Do you remember Tommy Joseph in
Tommy Joseph.
2016 or 2017? One of
Yeah.
those years. I don't know why, just something about he was like the oldest 25-year-old I've ever seen. Like, here, let me pull up a picture of Tommy Joseph real quick, because this guy was so old. He was so old looking that I was like, there's no way. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Here, let me see if it'll.
He's 25?
Yeah, it's not
That's
focusing, but
I can tell by his jawline.
yeah, that guy. Yeah, that was I don't know. He was fine. And then, you got to Santana and then Hoskins. Where were you during the Reese Hoskins left field season?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
that's what I want to know. Where were you during the Reese Hoskins left field thing? So
It's like, do you remember Carlos Ruiz?
Of
I
course I
believe
do.
that's
Of
he
course
was
I do.
definitely one of my favorites from
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to
back in the
remember
day.
too. Yeah. Yeah, who was your favorite player growing up?
I mean, growing up, definitely Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
I Ryan Howard, Chase Utley was kind of just like
I
obvious.
he
I mean,
was
the Flying Hawaiian.
I loved him. Loved Shane
Yeah,
Victorino.
Reno's definitely a favorite.
My favorite, and I feel like nobody ever says this, Pedro Feliz. The third
Really?
he made me want to play third base when I was in Little League. Like I loved him. And I think the reason I loved him so much was because nobody else was talking about him. He
Yeah.
was solid defensively, offensively, he was solid. Like he was never the superstar guy. He was never the guy who was gonna take over a lineup. He was
Yeah.
just a solid infielder who did his job, stayed healthy, and that's why I wore number 7 when I was a kid. When I played Little League, I wore number
Yeah.
7 because of
Oh.
you, Pedro. Shout out to Pedro Feliz. Come on the pod, Pedro.
Please do.
Yeah, I probably could, honestly, if I sent a couple DMs. What has he got going on right now?
You know,
That's my two guys I want to get on this podcast is Garrett Stubbs and Pedro Feliz. Internet, do your thing. Get me in contact with Pedro Feliz and or Garrett Stubbs. I feel like Garrett Stubbs is a little busy right now because Phils are in the World Series.
yeah, I might be a little busy, but
But
who knows?
I
Next month.
feel yeah. So I can see the title now. Blah 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 blah, featuring World Series champion Garrett Stubbs.
Hell yeah.
I've been saying I want Garrett Stubbs on this podcast for a while, and I'm trying in the off season to see if I can get in contact with some players to see if I can get them on. I'm willing to get whoever on. If I have to even get, I could probably get Tommy Joseph on this podcast. Honestly,
I think you probably could.
yeah, I'll send him a DM right now. I'll be like, "Yo, bud, what do you got going on right now?
Yeah. Are you
Let's talk
busy?
about let's talk about the Phils. Come on." Okay. So obviously, game 1 is Friday. Rob Thompson announced today that it's going to be Aaron Nola game 1. It's going to be Zach Wheeler game 2. What do you think about that? Do you think it should have been Wheeler 1, Nola 2, or are you good with that decision?
I'm pretty good with that decision. I don't know about you, but I love Zach Wheeler
Mm.
and I love Aaron Nola. I have full confidence in the both of them.
Yeah, and I feel like it's almost giving. I feel like it should be Nola, only because he's the longest tenured Philly. It's game 1 of the World
Yes.
Series. He dominated the Astros in his last regular season start.
Hmm.
The clincher when we got in, and if God forbid that if they lose that first game, you have your ace Zach Wheeler going game 2. So the
Yes.
chances of bouncing back if you do lose game 1 is pretty high when you have your ace on the mound. So I like the move from Thompson. And now everybody and their mother knows my prediction for the Phillies. It's Phillies in 5. My World Series MVP is Alec Boehm. Now, Naomi, I must ask you, what do you got for me?
I mean, obviously, I honestly do think that the Phillies are going to win. I
Mm.
mean, I'll take all the heat that I'll get for saying it, but I really think they can do it and they are going to do it.
Yeah.
My MVP, honestly, I don't want to say Alec Boehm as well, just because he has such a heart, but I think like,
He's got washboard abs too.
oh yeah, he's also a beautiful human.
Yeah, the guy's jacked as hell. Like he's beautiful. He's a
Yeah, he's
beautiful man.
also great. I mean,
He's
I
very
would
beautiful.
love to see Aaron Nola
Mm.
pitch
Yeah,
some
that's what
games,
Will. That's what Will
pitch
said.
some pitch some games of his life and become an MVP
Yeah.
like of this World Series too.
Yeah. Or was it one of the either Matt or Will in the last 2 episodes said Aaron Nola. But yeah, I like that pick. I think they're gonna have a huge series, and I think that this series, a lot of people have the Astros steamrolling the Phillies. They also have the Braves steamrolling the Phillies and the Padres steamrolling the Phillies. So, and I just think it's going to be a lot closer than people realize. And there are some, I listen to a lot of baseball podcasts because I'm just a nerd, and a lot of them are giving the Phillies credit in the sense that you can't mess with destiny. Honestly,
Yeah.
and baseball is one of the sports where it is completely unpredictable, where, you can have a guy like Bryce Harper or like a Yordan Alvarez on the Astros be, this 350 hitter or 400 hitter during the postseason and then get blanked in the World Series,
Yeah.
go 0 for whatever. Or you have a guy like an Alec Boehm or a Bryson Stott go off in the World Series.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about baseball, is that at any given point, somebody can step up and be the hero, especially in the playoffs, which is why I'm saying Alec Boehm. And please, God, please let me be right. Because imagine I'll pull up the clip and be like, what did I say? What did I say?
I would love to see these playbacks.
Oh my God, yeah.
When it happens.
When it happens, I'm gonna be like, ha, I told you my guy would go off. Or people are gonna clip him and be like, is this your boy? And he's gonna be like 0 for 10 or something. It's either one. It's a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
So I got Phillies in 5, Alec Boehm, and you have Phillies in
5.
You got Phillies in 5, and you got Aaron Nola.
Phillies in 5. Yeah.
Phillies in 5. Book it right here. Phillies in 5. I keep saying it. Do not let the Phillies win one in Houston. You'll win one in Houston, you'll win the series. It's that simple. They do not lose at home. That crowd will not let the Astros off the hook for that cheating thing, because they got off easy. They got off easy. And you're coming into the Lions, then you're coming into a city that hasn't seen a World Series in 13 years, 12 years. And you're not only doing that, you're Phillies hostile as is, but you're cheaters on top of that. Woo! Mm-hmm. Good luck,
Imagine
buddy.
That.
Good friggin' luck. Now, before we go, do you have any closing remarks for the people, for anybody, for Jesus to hear?
For anyone that doubted us, I hope you can hear both of us laughing from all the way in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. And Phillies fans, the Phillies, we're rooting for you down here in Kentucky. I'm making everyone bandwagon just to support, because why not?
Because everybody hates the Astros.
Exactly. Who likes a bunch of cheaters?
The Phillies are America's team. America's team, Philadelphia Phillies.
Period.
And that's a perfect way to end it. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening, Naomi. Thank you for joining me. It was been great.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I might be back tomorrow. I don't know. I'm traveling. I might bring my laptop and microphone. Ashlyn might kill me, but
yes.
For the people.